All right, so here's the scenario. You find a lump or perhaps a bump on your body and you wonder what it could be.
And of all things, it's after hours. You can't get in to see your general practitioner, so you go to the emergency department. But is that the right decision? Anchor Kristen Hartman is here with some answers. Kristen.
Rooted in one Florida family's experience. Teresa Hyatt's 17-year-old son found a lump behind his ear. A lump about half the size of this golf ball. You have to know a bit about their history to understand why they immediately went to the emergency department.
This is my last picture of my family together.
They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. This one's symbolic of 1,000 worries, too.
My brother was a Navy vet. He died at the age of 50.
A range of cancers robbed Teresa Hyatt of half of her family in just 6 years. Then the disease targeted her son Joseph, first last year in the form of melanoma. So in June, when the teenager who loves video games then found a lump about half the size of a golf ball behind his ear,
just randomly felt it.
The Hyatts decided he needed to see a doctor as soon as possible. It was a Saturday night, so they went to an emergency department near their Florida home.
The guy comes in, he looks at his ear, and he says, it's a pimple.
That was the diagnosis.
I think they could have taken a little more time on it.
Even though the Hyatts say they told the doctor and the nurse about the cancer history with Joseph and the family.
We asked him, could you do some blood work or something? He said, there's no need. Okay, it's a pimple.
Discharge papers had instructions for treating acne and a recommendation to follow up with Joseph's primary care physician.
When the Hyatts did, the family doctor sent the teen for a biopsy. Turns out that bump the emergency room physician called a pimple ended up being Hodgkin's lymphoma, a kind of cancer.
My concern was how many parents go to the ER and get a diagnosis like Joseph's.
One study conducted between 2007 and 2013 showed the top claim against emergency department doctors was failure to diagnose. It's why 9 on Your Side turned to local physician Steve Fagans of Mercy Health for guidelines on where to seek treatment. He told me it depends on your issue. Emergent problems should get emergency department attention.
Like you're going to need an immediate procedure, or you're going to need potential hospitalization, or you're going to need your bone, set, or you've had trauma.
Fagans didn't comment directly on the Hyatt case, but he did say a family history of something like cancer might not change how an ED doc looking to handle the here and now approaches that more chronic concern.
That requires a continuity of care specialist that are not typically specialists that would come to an emergency department.
His advice, 1, always have a medical home. That's a primary care physician. And 2, if you end up in the emergency department, treat it like just an episode of care on a bigger continuum.
Every time you leave any doctor's office for emergency, you should have your follow-up plan. You should know, what am I doing next, where, who, and how.
So, doctor, what you're saying is ask those questions and be vigilant about your own care.
Absolutely.
And the Hyatts were vigilant about their own care. The ED doc recommended follow-up with the family physician, which they did, which led to that diagnosis. The Florida hospital in question reached out to the Hyatts, but also said, quote, ERs are designed for true medical emergencies, and they focus on treating people who have been seriously injured or who are gravely ill.
So, Kristen, is it about time? They're just too busy ER doctors to take that time?
Well, I think there are a number of things going on. They have a lot of patients. Even the doctor pointed out patients ranging in age from babies to 90, 95 years old. Right. They see everything, but they also are looking to dismiss the thing that could harm or kill you right away.
It's an emergency
always
room.
Good to reach out for that second opinion, too. If you still think there's something going on, ask your other physician.
And when they discharge you from the emergency department, it will usually say, follow up with your primary care physician. Do that.
Do that.
Absolutely.